I'm sure many of you are asking out there, hang on, you didn't have any money yet, a few $1,000s saved up. Where'd you get the money for the remodel? Well, g'day viewers, it's Chris Atkins here and welcome back to my channel, The Car Wash Chronicles. And just how the title of this video reads, I'm going to share with you guys a little bit of my backstory about how I became financially wealthy by the age of 32, which is actually my age right now. I think I'm supposed to say like the video. Is that what YouTubers do? No, smash. Oh yeah, you gotta smash the like button. Don't forget to smash the like button. Now I'm sounding like a real YouTuber. And of course subscribe to my channel, you know what it's called. But let me get stuck into my story. So let's backtrack just a little bit to life in Australia. Now as you can probably hear, I have an Australian accent. Even though I get all the time, you don't have that much of an Australian accent. Well, I say to that, I'm bloody sorry I don't sound like this, mate, everywhere I go, because then everyone looks at me weird and I have to repeat myself because no one can understand what I'm saying. Now, I didn't come from money. I grew up with my older sister. I had both my mum and my dad, and I had a great childhood. My parents definitely supported my sister and I with the bare essentials just to get us through our teens. Took us on a few vacations here and there every year, so we weren't struggling, but we weren't rich either. So it was kind of like lower middle class, I like to call it. In my early teens, I didn't really know that much about money and how it was really made besides working in a job. And I figured that's the only way to make money. Find a job, work, pay off a house, and then you're good. And the only way that you would get a job is to go to school. But the thing is, I really didn't like school. I hated school. I was so bored because in maths class, I was learning about algebra. In English, I was learning about Shakespeare. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, when am I actually going to use this in real life? And I thought to myself, there must be another way. So without finishing school and attaining the end certificate that you need to take to an employer, I just figured I was never going to get a decent job. Oh, and by the way, I never wanted a job. Now, my first interest in financial education was when my dad took me and my sister on a holiday to Los Angeles, California. Yes, the big bright lights of Hollywood. The reason we took a holiday to Los Angeles, California was to visit his brother, my Uncle Stewart, which you all know from my previous videos. And that was in 2004, and up until that time, Stewart had already been in America for 10 years. And I really didn't know Stewart that well because I was just a kid and obviously he was in America, so we never really had a chance to talk or anything. So I didn't really know him. And of course, we did all the touristy stuff. We went to Hollywood, we went to Venice Beach, we even went to San Francisco, and of course, Vegas. So after the 2.5 week trip, we got to the airport to fly back to Australia, and we actually got there a couple of hours early. So we stopped off at a restaurant and we sat down, and Stuart told me about this book that he recommended I read. Now, I was just this 15-year-old kid at the time, and I went through this great experience, having the best time of my life for the past 2.5 weeks in America. And I knew that this was where I wanted to end up, the land of opportunity. It was just a way different lifestyle than what I was used to, and I just couldn't wait to get back. But he told me this book to read. You've probably all heard of it. It's called Rich Dad Poor Dad by Robert Kiyosaki. You can grab a copy from the link in my description below if you like. And after reading that book in about 1 week, it completely changed my mindset around money. I went out to buy all of Robert Kiyosaki's other books, and I buried myself in them. I had like financial education overload, but I was so excited that I had a clearer path on which way I was heading. Here I was now, a 15-year-old kid, and all of a sudden I was thinking about what assets I could buy, what kind of business could I start, and how I can create all these different passive income streams. But just to name a few, I tried starting a t-shirt business. I went out and I bought the big hot iron press, I bought designs and the t-shirts, and then I made my own. And then I took them down to the local market and I decided to sell t-shirts. And this was my big new venture. I was super excited. I had this vision of being this big t-shirt empire. But like most businesses, it went nowhere and I was a failure. I failed for the first time. Well, not the first time. I didn't finish school. I quit my job. But I learned so much from that, so no regrets. So on to the next business venture. What was it? It was vending machines. I think by this time now I was about 17 or 18 and I had this opportunity to buy vending machines and I took it. Over 1 year I got 6 vending machines, the snack and soda, and those vending machines, they did okay, you know, brought in a little extra money. It was kind of a side hustle, but it wasn't going to change my life. It might have been a couple of $100 a week. But it wasn't really the dollar amount, it was more the mindset of where the money is coming in and how I'm making it. Passive income. I had to go out there one time and for the whole week they were making money. So it was more of a mindset thing for me on how to create money instead of selling my time for an hourly rate. And then of course, most people who are interested in making money, I studied the stock market. So I was reading all these books, I was taking all these courses on how to trade the stock market, and I got into the options trading. And for those option traders out there, you all know you have your good days and you have your bad days. But I figured that that was way more just like gambling, and I was putting on some trades, and I was just hoping for the best. I was hoping they would go up or hoping it would go down, depends which trade I had on. So that wasn't quite the right fit for the mindset that I was going after. So all of this was all before the age of 20. And during all that time, from the age of 15 upwards, probably still to this day, I was very interested in bodybuilding and wrestling. It was just very natural to me. I loved bodybuilding. I still do to this day. My mum and dad were bodybuilders, and Uncle Stewart actually competed in some bodybuilding shows. So I competed in 7 bodybuilding shows. I did pretty good in the teen category and then the junior division, getting third in my very first competition out of 17 competitors. Then I got second there next year. But of course, there's no money involved with that. You spend a lot of money on it, but there's really no reward until you take it all the way to the top, which I didn't want to do. So I started wrestling, which was always another dream of mine. Yes, the WWE style. And this was actually the way that I got to America. So long story short, I was 26, I was in Los Angeles visiting Stuart for about 1 month. I drove up to North Hollywood Gold's Gym to work out, and I got scouted by a WWE scout. He came up to me and said, "Hey, you look good. What do you do?" I said, "Not much, just here on holiday visiting my uncle." And he asked me, "I'm from the WWE, would you like a tryout?" I said, "Of course I want to try out. It's been a dream of mine to be a WWE superstar, and I would want nothing more." So he invited me to Orlando, Florida for a tryout. I went there for 3 days. Out of 60 people, there was about 5 that got accepted. I was one of them. So I packed up my life in Australia and I moved to Orlando, Florida to become the next WWE superstar. I was there for just under 2 years, and it was the 2 best years of my life probably up until that point. There was lots of ups, lots of downs. I had great experiences in front of crowds, to get on the top rope, raising your arm, clotheslining people, punching people, body slamming people, and then nipping up and giving the most muscular. But my time came up with WWE, we parted ways, and I decided to move to Los Angeles where Stuart was, and naturally I just wanted to get into the entertainment industry and be an actor like most WWE superstars once they're done with wrestling. And it's not like I made it to the big time in WWE. I didn't become The Rock, or I didn't become John Cena or The Undertaker or anything like that. Otherwise I wouldn't be here on YouTube doing this video right now. But it did help to have WWE on my resume. So after going through the whole audition process, doing a few little roles here and there, I still continue to do it, but I don't really have aspirations to become the next Brad Pitt or anything like that. No. So I decided to start working for Uncle Stewart in the car wash business. And thanks to all those books that I read years and years ago, I still had the mindset of wanting to find assets that produce passive income, so I had the choice whether I worked or not. Because I didn't want to be like every other wannabe Hollywood actor who were broke working as a bartender from 9 till 2 in the morning, figuring out where their next paycheck's going to come from. So now that I got bodybuilding, wrestling and acting all out of my system, I was now at the age of 29. And I finally felt like I could begin on my financial journey. Hope I wasn't too late. So here I was, 29 years old. I started going out with Stuart to his car washes just to help him sweep up and just to watch him change whatever needed changing and how to pretty much run a self-serve car wash. And then he put me in charge of the Lancaster car wash and started sending me out on my own, which is where I started learning the most. As I was working at the Lancaster car wash, it finally hit me. I thought, this is exactly the business model that I was looking for. You build up a car wash, you maintain it, you put the right employee in place, someone who keeps it clean, a maintenance guy, and they pretty much take care of it. So I would go there probably once or twice a week just to collect the cash. So that's pretty passive income to me. I'll take that. And then the light bulb hit me. Ding! I was collecting all this cash for Stuart and then I would give it to him, so I thought, hang on, why don't I just get my own car washes? So I think I was working with Stuart for about a year, and then I finally decided I'm going to drive around and try and find my own car wash. So I started doing what he did, and what he recommended I do is to write out a note to the owner, put it under the door, asking if he wants to sell, and see what kind of reaction I get. And that's another good thing about working with Stuart. I was working to learn, not to earn. That's another Rich Dad quote. So that when it became time for me to get my own car wash, I already knew how the business worked, I knew how to fix things and how to change things, and that gave me a huge leg up. So I started driving around the Los Angeles area, dropped about 100 notes at all these different car washes, all within a couple of months. And out of those 100 notes, I probably received about 5 phone calls. And out of those 5 phone calls I received, guess how many deals I did? None. That's because they just weren't the right sellers for me. The cheapest one wanted about $500,000, and at this time, I didn't have any money. I had maybe a few thousand saved up. And then the other guys wanted like $2 million for the land and the business, and I was like, well, that's completely out of my price range. But believe me, I tried to make it work, I tried negotiating, and I tried finding financing for it. But again, I failed. But I also learned from that I didn't want to do a deal just to be a car wash owner, just for the sake of doing a deal. It had to be a good deal, and it had to be a good deal that would fit my criteria. Otherwise, if it was a bad deal and I just paid top dollar because I wanted a car wash, it would have come back to bite me in the butt later on. So skip forward 2 years, I was 31 years old and I'm still looking for my own car wash. So the story goes, one day my wife, yes, my beautiful wife, she was redoing her floorboards in her condo, and she was very specific about these floorboards she wanted. Oh, trust me, she was specific. She wanted these ones specifically from this Lowe's 2 hours away in Apple Valley. I hopped in my truck and I hauled ass 2 hours away to Apple Valley for all these floorboards. So I was heading up the 15 freeway, took my exit, Bear Valley Road, might sound familiar? And I pull up to this red light and I was waiting there and I was bored thinking, come on, hurry up. And I look over to my right. Oh, it's a car wash, but it's closed down. So I thought, okay, at the moment, screw the floorboards. I'm going to pull into this car wash and find out what's going on with it. Obviously, the paint job was really bad. It needed to be repainted. There was trash around everywhere. There was a few homeless around. And right next door, there was a Jiffy Lube. So I went over to the Jiffy Lube and I said, hey, what's going on with this car wash? And they said it's been closed down for about 4 to 5 years. And I thought, holy crap, people have been driving past this car wash for that long and no one's seen this opportunity. And then I was looking around and I looked on the roof and I saw there was a banner and it said for lease. And it had the owner's phone number. It was just handed up on a silver platter for me. So at this point, my heart started racing. I was super excited. So I called the phone number and the guy actually picked up. It's very rare they pick up, but he did. And I spoke to him. Hey, I saw your car wash. I'm just interested. What's going on with it? I'm in the car wash business. I work for my uncle who has a bunch of experience, which obviously he liked because he was looking for a tenant. As a property owner with a car wash on it, you want someone who's going to know how to run the business. And he's had about 50 or 60 calls over the last few weeks about this, and no one had experience in the car wash business. So he said, no. And then I called and I said, yes, I have experience in the car wash. And he said, okay, congratulations, you can have it. And I thought this was too good to be true, but it gets even better. He goes, you know what, actually, I have another car wash that's completely run down. So if you'd like that one, go check it out. It's 5 minutes away on Main Street. Sound familiar? So I did. I drove down there and it was completely shut down. It was another 5 bay. And I thought, I just got 2 car washes. At this point, I was just about to drive home and I thought, what am I out here for again? Oh yeah, the floorboards. So I better go to Lowe's and get the floorboards. Then I raced home. I was super excited. I told the missus about it. Even she was super excited. So it was a win-win. So a couple of days later, I actually met the property owner at the car wash and we came to an agreement on a monthly rent price. A few days later, he drafted up a lease, sent it to me, went back and forth a little bit, made a few changes here and there, and then we came to an agreement. I signed the lease. And he gave me the keys. So now I'm a car wash owner of 2 car washes. Well, soon to be car washes. They were closed down. Obviously the work now begins, but I was super excited to get started. So I decided to do 1 car wash at a time. I would focus all on one street. That was the Main Street car wash. And then once I got that one open, I would focus on car wash number 2, which was Bear Valley. And it took me about 5 weeks to get the car wash open. And that was only working on the weekend. So it was like 10 to 12 days. And then for the second car wash, Bear Valley, that took about 7 weeks because it needed a little more work because there was really nothing there. It was just a shell. That's the good thing about finding completely shut down car washes. There's no purchase price. You can just get in there with a lease with pretty much $0 down or like a first and last month or security deposit or whatever it is. And then all you have to do is focus on the remodel and bring it back to life. I'm sure many of you are asking out there, hang on, you didn't have any money yet, a few $1,000s saved up. Where'd you get the money for the remodel? Well, that's the good thing about having a very supportive wife. She lent me the money so that we could open them up because she was in a job that she really didn't want. And the sooner we got these car washes open, they would get her out of her job. And she did. She decided to invest into our new car wash company, get them open as soon as possible so that she didn't need the job anymore. She decided whether she wanted to work or not. So it's now December of 2020, it's the middle of winter, and the Main Street car wash caught traction really quick and it just took off. Bear Valley took a little slower because it's off the main road. But fast forward 1 year, now that they've been open for a full year and they've just taken off. The way that I've built them up, I've made them the best in the area and everyone comes there. I'm always very busy, unless of course it's raining. But I'm still very, very busy every other sunny day. And I finally built up a passive income producing asset, which requires just a very small amount of my time each week, maybe 3 to 5 hours. Sometimes I want to go there even more because I enjoy being there. But by no means are we rich. No, we're not rich at all, but I would say we're financially wealthy. And just to quote Robert Kiyosaki from Rich Dad Poor Dad one more time, he explains the difference between being rich and being wealthy. You see, being rich is like a lump sum, say $5 or $10 million worth plus. So being rich is more measured in an amount, whereas wealth is measured in time. So the question is, how many weeks, months, or years wealthy are you? So for example, your expenses are $1,000 per month, and let's say you have $10,000 saved up. You are 10 months wealthy. If you stopped working today, how long could you survive on the money that you have? Because let's face it, it's risky just to have one job. You can be fired like that. And I think we all learned that in the year 2020. So the goal is to acquire enough assets that produce passive income that can cover your monthly expenses. So for example, if your expenses are $1,000 per month and you bought an asset that produces passive income and it brings in $3,000 a month, then you're infinite wealthy. As long as that business keeps running, you are now financially wealthy. You now no longer require a job and a week-to-week paycheck to keep up your standard of living. But it's like they always say, the first one is the hardest. Once you get your first one, then it kind of has a snowball effect. You get the second and the third and the fourth, and the money starts coming in and you just keep reinvesting it. So that's the goal. I got 2. I'm looking for 3 and 4. Anyone out there who wants to sell me a car wash, give me a call. But now more than ever in these days, financial education is so important, and it can start with just one book to change your life. And trust me, you won't regret it. The main thing is just to go get started. So that's a bit of my story. Hopefully it provides you with a little motivation to go get educated financially, and even go out and drive your neighborhood to go find your own car washes or laundromat or vending machines or whatever it is that's going to produce passive income for you and financially take you to the next level in life. Thanks for watching, guys. I really appreciate it. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel. I'm Chris Atkins with the Car Wash Chronicles. See you all next video.